Hello everyone, welcome back to day 24 out of 40 days of our AWS cloud journey. I'm Chayan and today we are deep diving into the one of the most powerful service of AWS offer for the container orchestration part, that is Amazon EKS. Amazon EKS generally stand for Elastic Kubernetes Services. So if you ever wondered about how big companies like Spotify, Airbnb, Netflix manages thousands of containers at the scale, EKS is one of the tool behind the magic, and today we will break down into the simple way, and that's just we are looking into the practical part. We are looking into the some of the theory part, what exactly why we use generally EKS part. So first of all, let's understand the problem why we generally use this Kubernetes world. Okay, we have some problem use case. That's why we are into the Kubernetes world. Okay, so why we generally use this K8s? Kubernetes is generally short form as a K8s we generally say. So let's start with the problem Kubernetes solve. Okay, say you are building a food delivery app. Okay, initially you have deployed on a single EC2 instances. Like this is your for delivery app, and this is your single EC2 instances where we have deployed it's on something like servers like Nginx server on any or the single instance is already working. Okay, now but you have to add new features like real-time tracking, payments, notifications, reviews. So all these things you have to add on here. But now imagine millions of users joining. You can't run everything on single machine. This might get done because it might have only the load of some 100 users, or I can say 1000 users by suppose. Okay, you have limited resources on this particular EC2 instances. Now what to do? You have hosted, you have to do all this particular thing. So now millions of users are joining, and you have to mainly the scale it, enlarge it. So we have to break down this particular things into a different microservices. Okay, the Kubernetes generally works on the microservice architectures part. Okay, so microservices, what all the microservices we are going to have? First of all, the microservice might be order the service. Okay, this can be the first microservice. Second, location service, there will be another microservice. Okay, third microservice, that can be the our payment microservice. Okay, so like this, there can be multiple microservices. So you containerize them using the Docker. Now you have bunch of Docker. Like for this, we are going to have one container. Okay, this is for this, we are going to have one container. Okay, this for this we are going to have one container. For this we are going to have. So this what we have become. This has become the bunch of container. Okay, and bunch of container are generally worked on the top of Docker. You have if you have knowledge of Docker, Docker works on containers world. So same thing, now we have a bunch of container, but how do you deploy and manage, scale, monitor them across the machines? So how we are going to do, because you can't simply launch by Docker and simply manage all these particular single instances. So to manage all these particular things, if you want to scale, if you want to monitor all these particular nodes at one time, so here the Kubernetes plays a vital role for managing and container part. So that's why here the Kubernetes K8s comes into the play, and generally known as a container orchestration tool. What is generally known as container orchestration orchestration tool. So here, why this is generally known as container orchestration system, a system that manages containerized apps at the scale. Like it can do everything for you. It can scale you. It can manage you. It can create the monitoring for you. It can do each and everything for you. So nothing to worry about it. It will whole apps will managed by AWS Cloud only. Okay, not AWS Cloud. There can be different kinds of servers. Like there can be on-premise server. There can be cloud part, all this particular thing. But what is AWS EKS? Like you got the points. What is the problem generally been solved by the EKS world? Okay, Kubernetes world. But now same things been offered by this been offered by different cloud. Okay, like Kubernetes platform. Like you can just move the cloud, or you can uh, do with the on-premises part, or you can set up each on everything on the local also. So we are looking into the how to build with the cloud part. So in the cloud we have three kinds of cloud. We have AWS cloud, we have Google cloud. Okay, we have Microsoft cloud. Okay, we have another cloud is Microsoft cloud. Okay, Microsoft cloud, we have this kind of clouds with us. So into the AWS cloud, this generally known as EKS. Okay, into the Microsoft Cloud, we generally known as AKS part, and to the Google Cloud, we generally known as Kubernetes Engine. Okay, Kubernetes Engine world. Okay, this is generally known as Kubernetes in general. So today in the AWS series, we are going to learn about the EKS world, how generally it works, how generally the things flow. Now, you got the point. In the Kubernetes, we can install on different platform, cloud platform, on-premises platform, and the local setup part. Now, we are going to understand about what is the Kubernetes we generally have. Okay, we'll come back to this architectures also. So, what is AWS EKS? Okay, what is generally this generally mean? So AWS EKS generally known as Elastic Containers Services, Kubernetes Services, Kubernetes Services, which generally fully manage Kubernetes service by the AWS cloud. But what generally happens if we download it locally? So we have to manage it manually. Okay. Whenever we download this, we have to manage this manually. Like we have a master node, we have a worker node, we have so lots of things are we have to manage all these things particular this manually, but aws is this is been fully managed by aws only, fully managed by aws cloud only. We don't need to manage any thing in here this category of from aws cloud. So everything has been generally managed by aws cloud only, this kubernetes services. Okay, so it takes the complexity out of setting up the box running Kubernetes clusters for you. Think of it like you want to drive a car. The car will be here the Kubernetes, but you don't know to build the engine from the scratch. So we from self-managing clusters. But so you buy a Tesla that is fully managed, scalable, secure, scalable, and you just drive and you just drive it. So everything is built, everything is done by the companies only. So with the EKS of AWS handles, we generally have we have control plane, we have automatic sketching, all this particular thing. So this is a general Kubernetes architecture. How does it look like? We have master node, we have to configure worker node, we have to how many worker nodes you want, you can configure. Like if you want one more worker node, so you can configure one more worker node also. But this all the things you have to be create, like we have to while installing of the local server on the on-premises part. So we have to things three the things manually. Okay, like before we deploy an EKS, so we have nodes. Okay, so nodes is generally a kinds of a virtual servers. Okay, a virtual or physical machine. Then we have pods. These are the something kinds of pods which generally helps into a small deployable unit, just like a usually a one container, one container to one container. So this is a bunch of container which are generally being managed by the Kubernetes part. Okay, then we have services like we have deployments, we have config management. Everything is been managed by AWS cloud only. We don't need to do the things. So EKS generally runs on the control planes. Okay, this is the control plane which generally include etcd, which generally includes control panel, which generally includes kubes API server, which generally includes schedulers part. So you can run your app on worker node like or EC2 or Fargate and keeps EKS keeps everything in sync part. Okay, so you can how to use EKS, like EKS can be used in different ways. First of all, the ways can be you can just set up the CLI part. You can do each and everything from the CLI. Second will be the UI part, like coming to the AWS account and launching each and everything from there. And like you can even set up on EC2 instances, create one EC2 instances, it will be worker node, and other creates a master node and attach this master node to the worker node. So like this way, you can also do the things. But for the AWS world, we are going to use quickly our EKS part. So let's quickly jump to the practical and let's quickly check it out how to create this particular EKS. Okay, so here we have quickly log in into our AWS cloud. Now, what next? We have to just quickly search for the EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Service. It's generally opening. So this all these things are being fully managed. You don't need to worry about some kind of nodes. No need to worry about manual setups. Everything you have to just select the configurations part. Same thing we have done in the EC2 instances also. So everything's been done, everything managed by the AWS cloud only. You have to just create the clusters. So how to create a clusters? You have to come up over here and you have to just quickly create the clusters part. Okay, now here you get the two options. Configurations options are the new. You want quick configuration with EKS auto mode or you want custom configuration. So let's quickly check with the quick configurations part. Okay, what the name you want to give. This if you want to change the name like demo prod, whatever what name you want to use, which Kubernetes version you want to choose, 1.3 to 1.31, like this way. Then same cluster rules you have to attach. You have to go up over here. It will create automatically for you. They will attach the policies for you. You just need to move forward. Okay, I will just quickly show you. You have to same go for the node IAM role also. You have to also, if you don't have VPC, you have to create the VPC. If you want, you can attach the subnets parts. Okay, let's quickly move to the cluster IAM role over here. Okay, now yeah, they have just already selected the AWS services. Use case is for the EKS part, and we are using for the auto cluster, like allow access to the other AWS sources. Okay, you have to just quickly move to the next one. They have been attaching the policies directly. You don't need to attach any of the policies. They are attaching load balancing, networking, compute clusters, each and everything for that. And then you have to just move to the next. And this is the role they has been defining. What exactly the role can be created. So once you create the role, this role has been created. You have to come up over here. Yeah, you can just refresh. You get the new cluster role has been created. Same for the node IAM. You have to just recommend a role and you have to just create the clusters. Okay, I'm not creating the clusters because it cost us somewhere like it's a high cost. I'm just showcasing how you can move with this from GUI part into the upcoming class. We will show. I will see the with the command from the CLI part, how you can just create EKS cluster from the CLI. Okay, and we are going to manage those particular things. Okay, so this is was about the custom configuration. We have seen about the quick configuration. So here, what kind of clusters name you want? I just want to name as a demo part. What is the IAM role? Kubernetes version. You want extended or the standard version? So you can standard version. I'm just moving like this. Support this option support Kubernetes version for 14 months after the release. Okay, like this way they have some built-in policies, node IAM role, what kind of built-in nodes you want, system nodes or general purpose nodes, this particular things, cluster access, like I was just talking about the API and the config maps. Okay, so they will create a directly administrative access and attach to the configs map. So like this way they have lots of things to be configured over here. But if you are we have to attach some kind of node role. Let me just quickly show you the further things also. So like this way you have to just attach some kinds of policies over there. You have to attach the add-ons. You have to attach nothing, but everything will be by default. Let me quickly show you that also. Here the VPCs. You select the VPC subnets, then additional security groups. Do you want any security groups to be attached? Optional. IPv4 will be there. Endpoints will be public and private. Do you want your cluster totally in the private? That can be in the private one. If you want your cluster to be totally public, public. But if you want both private and public, it can be private and public. Next, do you want Prometheus? Do you want CloudWatch? Like for the matrices part, for the configure the visibility part, do you want, you can enable. Do you want control plane logs should be stored, like you want API server logs, you want authenticator, like this kinds of logs? Do you want any? No? Then you can just move next. Do you, what kind of add-ons you want? Like it depends on us. Like some necessities are core DNS. You have to use kubeproxy. You have to use like this way you can just choose EFS, EBS driver. These are for the storage part. EFS, CFS, CSI drivers. You can use this also. Okay. Then after then they are just giving all those particular add-ons with what kind of add-ons you want to use, some kind of libraries. Okay. Then this is going to build on this particular version. Core DNS is having this version. kubeproxy is having this version. EBS CSI driver is having this version. Now, the main thing comes up here while you are creating with this. So pod entity IAM role for this particular part, they are just asking. So you have to create the recommended role over here. Okay. Best their recommended role, they will directly attach the policies from themselves. They will give the attached permissions policies. See here what kind of use case you want, EBS roles part. They are just creating the custom policy. No, I'm just moving with the EKS part. Port identity policy, you have to just move next, and like this way you can attach your IAM rules also here. Next, once you move to the next, there will be option to review and create. Let me quickly create and permission. Let me just quickly administrative permission as of now. Okay, CSI driver, they have been attached the policies. Just create the role. They have okay, they have already created the EBSI driver's role. Okay, you have to just quickly select the same role here also. EFS, yeah. Otherwise, you can just create the recommended role for the EFS also. I'm just showcasing for the for the practical part. And like this way, you once you click on create, your Kubernetes EKS cluster has been getting created. It takes something around 5 to 10 minutes to get up. Everything it's take 5 to 10 minutes to get up. And once your cluster is up, you can start using this particular Kubernetes cluster and you can start using the Kubernetes part. But before using this EKS services, you have to be too good, too proficient into the EKS world. You have to be too good like for the Kubernetes commands, how the general things works over here. So if I generally talk about some real example, so let's suppose I want to deploy a Node.js app with MongoDB database. Okay, so in the yesterday class we have seen we have can done this by using the Elastic Beanstalk also, but Kubernetes EKS is generally like a containerization platform. So we have to first of all write the Docker file. We have to push the images through the ECR, which we have already seen. Then we have to define some Kubernetes manifestations files, and we have to just simply Kubernetes apply file. If you are familiar with the Kubernetes parts, so you will get easily what all the commands we generally have. Okay, this was generally basically overview all this particular part. And if I talk about the pricing part, so they generally charge $0.10 per hour for the control plane, and you have to pay separately for the EC2 instances also. So it's somewhere cost high for it. So just good for the knowledge and practical purpose. If you are looking for the company side, so you can just spend this particular things. But for the own learning purposes, you can just check it out what all those general things flow, or else it is recommended to set up this particular Kubernetes on your local, so it will be good for the learning and the testing purposes. Okay, then this was all about our day 24, all about the EKS part. So to summarize, we have just learned about AWS EKS simplifies Kubernetes for cloud native deployment, then perfect for productions ready workloads, and great for the companies moving to microservices and the containers part, because microservices are something like different components we generally put into a container, and that branch of containers we generally create containers part and just make some microservices like microservices. Suppose I have this services. Okay, I just make this is a microservice, this is microservice, this is microservice. So for 5 of them, each separate container is generally low, and everything is managed by Kubernetes only. Okay, so thanks for watching this video. Upcoming video 25 will more explore about more services and more onto the AWS cloud. So if you feel Kubernetes is too much for now, don't worry. We got options. I will explain you more into the upcoming videos. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Do drop your question into a comment. Hit the bell icon to stay updated. This is Chayan, and I will see you soon in day 25. And guys, don't forget to stop this particular EKS cluster because it might cost you. So once you create it, just stop or delete this particular cluster. Otherwise, it can impact your billings also. Thanks for watching this video. See you soon in next video.